Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to Rule of Two Review. Today, we're going to be talking about Pikmin 4, and whether or not Pikmin 4, if it doesn't become a 3DS title, if it would release on the Wii U or the Nintendo NX. So, this is a pretty fun topic to discuss, I thought, because, honestly, I was looking for some more Nintendo news to discuss today, and it's actually been really hard to find anything to talk about. As far as new Nintendo news, obviously the big thing that's happening with Nintendo currently, right now, and with, 2016 and how it's going to play out, is Nintendo NX. That's the big mystery, that's the big reveal everyone's excited for and waiting for and curious about, and all the mysteries are circling around the Nintendo NX. I'm very excited for it, it kind of becomes the sort of the crutch topic to lean on if you don't have much to talk about, and I didn't really want to do that. I've made plenty of NX videos, and I do love discussing it. And even though Kimishima just came out again the last couple of days with an interview talking sort of about the NX, but still not really giving us much to go on, I didn't want to do that specifically, but I did realize that there is a game coming out, Pikmin 4, something that we know about, but we really just know it exists. We know nothing else about it. And there's kind of a lot happening around where that game could land and what it could mean based on the curious timing that we've heard about it, and that we would probably expect it to launch. Here we are, like, in the waning hours of the Wii U's life, a system that I think has just been so great and has given us such a strong library of games, mostly first-party, a couple of third-party gems, and a really cool, unique controller that I enjoy a lot. We're coming to the end of this life, and we know that the NX is coming sometime soon. We know it's going to be announced and shown sometime this year. We don't know anything about it, what the system's really like, what the controller is like, what the price will be, and when it will even launch. We know none of those things. We know we're going to get them this year. I recently discussed how I feel pretty good saying the system is probably going to be revealed in the next couple of months, February, March, April time or so, with a full blowout around E3 and maybe a little bit after. And whether or not that game launches in 2016 by the end of the year, or somehow becomes a system that is meant to launch in 2017, I think that sort of determines where Pikmin 4 might end up. So therein lies the crux of the whole situation. Pikmin 4 is a game I'm massively excited for. I really enjoyed Pikmin's 1 and 2. I didn't get super into them. Now, Pikmin 3 blew my mind. It is so fantastic, still great to this day. My girlfriend and I will go back on a rare occasion and play the bingo battle while we drink some wine and just have a great chaotic time. It's a wonderful game, amazing campaign, some of the best visuals I've ever seen. And it really showed that there's some life to that series still. It even sold pretty well. It reviewed very well, sold well. It's a game that pretty much everyone who played it liked. It did commercially okay. And, about, 3, 4, maybe longer, a couple of months ago, randomly one morning, Shigeru Miyamoto just confirms, oh, by the way, we're making Pikmin 4, and oh, by the way, it's almost done. And everyone was like, what are you talking about? Where did that come from? But it was great news. I mean, it was everything that most Nintendo fans and gamers would want to hear. The continuation of a wonderful series and knowing that the game was almost complete. Very, very strange news. Now, of course, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, it should be noted that there is the slight possibility that that game ends up launching on the 3DS. I think it would actually be pretty cool for a Pikmin game to show up on the 3DS. I want Pikmin 4, the traditional sequel to the previous 3 games, to be a console game. Whether it's Wii U or NX, that's what I would prefer. But I do think that there's a case to be made for a Pikmin game on the 3DS. I think it could be great. I think it could sell very well. It would look and run fantastically. The controls and the touchscreen could make things pretty cool. You got dual screens. We've seen how well that's worked out for Pikmin 3 and the Wii U. There's a lot of benefits I can see to having a Pikmin game on the 3DS. So what I would kind of like to see would be a console version of Pikmin 4 alongside of a 3DS version. The same way Smash Bros. Launched with both a 3DS and a Wii U version, and the same way we had a Wii U version of Hyrule Warriors, and now, over a year later, we're getting a 3DS version. What if they came out around the same time? Closer window like what Smash Bros. Did. I think that would be super freaking cool. But let's just remove 3DS from the conversation, because of course most of us assume and think and probably want for this game to be a console game. Where would it land, on the Wii U or the NX? That's the question, given what's happening with the Wii U and the NX. And so that goes back to how I started this conversation. I think it really depends on the launch window for the NX. So we know we're going to see the NX revealed this year. Who knows how that whole crazy kooky mystery is going to play out. It could be the greatest thing in the world, or it could be really confusing and not what we all want. I have way more faith in Nintendo than I do skepticism, but it could go either way. So, we're going to see the NX this year revealed. If they say, hey, this is coming out November 2016, this is our brand new generation, our new console starting holiday season this year, so get ready for it. That would, to me, tell me that that Pikmin 4 is probably going to be an NX title. And if anything, I would say that it should be an NX title if it was going to be launching this year. I think that that's absolutely a great kind of game to have at launch or near launch for the NX. If you can show a handful, 2 or 3, first-party Nintendo games and some little weird one-off third-party games, I think Pikmin 4 being one of those first-party launch games is great. It reminds me of kind of how the GameCube launched with Luigi's Mansion, which is a great first-party game. It's actually, I freaking love Luigi's Mansion. But it wasn't like, people were expecting a Mario, and they didn't get Mario. They got this weird thing with his brother that was like a ghost hunting game and not a platformer, but it was great. So it was like one of those first-party kind of Nintendo games that wasn't like blowing the roof off of anything, but everyone recognized as very solid and very fun, and it did help the GameCube get off to a very strong start, and that game did very well. It sold very well. It was received very well. So I feel like because the Pikmin series isn't as huge as Zelda and Mario, or even Metroid, I feel like it could kind of be that perfect little smaller but larger title to kind of balance Nintendo's first-party launch lineup. It could be really, really great for that. Not to mention showing off a bunch of cool new capabilities of the NX. What can this thing really do visually? What kind of graphics can it pump out? Because everyone wants to know how that's going to be, myself included. And, what's that controller going to be like? What is the interface going to be like? How can a game like Pikmin, which worked so well on Nintendo's previous console with the unique gamepad controller, how can Pikmin work with whatever new interface scheme Nintendo has planned for the NX? I think it would be neat to see that stuff play out, and it would be a very strong launch title. I mean, you might even argue that Pikmin 4 could potentially have a better chance at selling well if it was a launch title for the NX where there isn't a lot of other competition than if it comes a couple of years into the console's life cycle, just because even though the series has done okay and Pikmin 3 did well, I think that there's probably still ground to be covered for Pikmin 4 that it could eventually, I think that it could sell better than it has been, basically. And I think that if it launched amidst a very small launch lineup but was known to be a great game and a lot of people pick up the NX, you'd have to think that most NX gamers, NX day one adopters, would probably be picking up a copy of Pikmin 4, and that could help it be maybe more successful. So that's my theory there. Now, of course, if the NX doesn't launch this year, and if they come out and they say, hey, here's the NX, pretty cool, right? 2017. It'll be like, well, I just don't think that Pikmin 4 will be coming out on the NX. I think that it will be one of the 2016 Wii U games. And just like how I mentioned the opposite way, if that was the case, if in fact the NX was a 2017 title, I would say Pikmin 4 should be a Wii U game. It should be a game that helps fill in this very confusing 2016 final full year of the Wii U, where we know we have a couple of games to get excited for. Obviously, Zelda Wii U is the big one, confirmed to still be a Wii U title. The Pokken tournament game is a game that I think a lot of people are probably going to be very excited for and very into. Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem is a game that I'm very curious in, and if you were to ask me right now, I would say, yeah, I would pick that game up, I would check it out. But we need to really start knowing more about that, so that game could go either way. More than likely, I think I would pick it up, unless it becomes too weird, and I just don't know yet. There's that the Lost Reavers game, by the way, which everyone has forgotten about, what was Project Treasure and has now become Lost Reavers, some online sort of dungeon crawling thing. Very curious about that. I think there's a lot of potential for that to be pretty great. Maybe not, maybe. And so that's another title coming out this year. And then, I don't know if I'm forgetting anything else, but I think it's those couple. And what if you added Pikmin 4 to the mix for the Wii U? There's a handful of first-party exclusive games. 3 first-party games there, and then the 1 third-party Lost Reavers game. That's pretty cool. And gosh, am I missing anything? I feel like I might be missing something for the Wii U that I can't think of, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I feel like you can't... Oh, Star Fox Zero. Woo! I was freaking out there. How can I forget Star Fox, my main man? Like, I am so fucking pumped for Star Fox Zero. So, Star Fox, Zelda, Pokken Tournament, Lost Reavers, maybe Pikmin 4, There, of course, is also, like, Twilight Princess HD, which is, I'm so massively pumped for. You've heard me say that. It is a remaster. It's not a brand new game, but still a pretty big release that's going to sell very well. So you have that handful of games coming out for the Wii U. If you include Pikmin 4 in that mix, provided the NX is going to launch in 2017, you're helping sort of round out that final year of the Wii U's life cycle, and I would like to see that happen. I would love to see what a Pikmin built from the ground up on the Wii U could look like. Pikmin 3, as we all know, started as a Wii game, and they really took those assets and they improved on the Wii version of Pikmin 3 to make it a Wii U game, and I still think it turned out as one of the best-looking games we've seen of the generation so far, across any console, for sure. And imagine if Pikmin 4 was a Wii U game, and they started development on the Wii U, and Miyamoto just pushed it to its limits to make that game as good as it could be, and what kind of new, cool ideas that they could throw into it. That gets me super pumped, you guys. As a Pikmin fan, that gets me really excited. So, you know, I guess that's kind of really the gist of the conversation and the question I wanted to pose to you guys and discuss my angle. It's hard to say either way. I don't feel, you know, very much lopsided on one way or the other. I think it really depends on the timing of the NX. If the NX is a 2016 release, the game will probably be an NX game, and I think it should be an NX game. If the NX actually is launching in 2017, which I don't think is too likely, could happen, not likely, but if it did, I think that Pikmin 4 definitely should be a Wii U game. I think that there's a chance that it may still not be. It may be something that's ultimately planned for the NX whenever the NX launches, but if we got news that the NX is 2017, I would be really disappointed if Pikmin 4 didn't become a 2016 Wii U release. I think that would be a shame for the title and a shame for the Wii U. That deserves a couple of great games still this year. Star Fox and Zelda are like the pinnacle ultimate, but we need a little bit more too. You know, Pokken Tournament, I don't think it's going to do all that well. I know diehard Pokemon fans are going to want to throw tomatoes at me through their computer screens for that, and I think the game could be good, and I definitely know you guys, Pokemon fans, are going to pick it up, but I don't know if it's going to do huge gangbuster numbers like Zelda or even Star Fox will probably do. I definitely think Star Fox will sell better than Pokken Tournament, unless Pokken Tournament just gets 10s out of 10s and no one expected it to be that good, but I don't expect that. So, you know, basically, I think that Pikmin 4 should be a Wii U release if NX is pushed to 2017. But you know what? It all remains to be seen. We don't have a lot of answers. This is just a fun, speculative video talking about one of my favorite series, and the fact that we know this Pikmin 4 game, randomly created out of nowhere, is randomly almost done. If the game is almost done, it would be ridiculous to save it for 2017 for the NX launch. Unless, of course, the last possibility that I'm sure we've all considered, what if it's meant to release on both? What if it's a Wii U and an NX game? Now, for Zelda, I'm willing to let that slide again because they've done it before. It's that kind of title that, you know, Wii U owners deserve, but could be a massive boost for the launch of the NX. So that game I could buy. Pikmin 4, I don't think we need to do that. I think it should be a dedicated console release to either one or the other. Hopefully it started its development cycle on one console's hardware, whether it's the Wii U or the NX, and it finishes and releases on that same hardware. That would be my dream for the game. Ultimately, I know it would be a great game because Pikmin is great and Miyamoto makes great Pikmin games, so it could release on the frickin', you know, original black and white Game Boy, and it would be like the best thing ever, probably. But it would be nice to see it have its full life realized on the same platform that the development started. So, I don't know, that's what's going on, guys. What do you guys think about Pikmin 4? What are you excited about for the game? Do you expect to see it this year? Do you expect it to launch on the Wii U or the NX? Maybe both? Maybe a 3DS title? You know, discuss kind of my thoughts here. Tell me what you guys think about this whole thing. Very curious to hear your thoughts. Thanks as always for tuning in. This is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and I'll catch you guys next time on another video.